Hi, my name's David Reed. I've been coming to Faith Assembly for a little over 12 years. Had not grown up in the church, had not really been raised up to know God. In fact, I had this demon spirit about me, but it kind of started, in my youth. I didn't want to hear about God. I didn't want to know God for who He is. I was so far away from the truth. I even spoke out against people. I would insert myself in conversations. I would that if I heard the word God or heard the name God, life as I chose to took me down this road of drug addiction and stuff. And when I met my wife Ashley, we partied together and stuff. And when it came into the factor of kids, my wife wanted to settle down and do things, and I lied and said that I wanted to, but I really did not. I wasn't done with the party life. So found out we were having a second child, and I was like really deep down in the midst. I was keeping secrets from my wife. At first with my addictions, I would be open with her, but it got to the point where, because I was really I was doing secret drug deals and things like that. I was going behind her back. We had got married too. She had found out, and it really put us in a rocky place. We should be newlyweds, over a year married, but we're hitting so many bumps in the road. It literally came to a point where I believe that she was sought divorce. I was drinking, smoking weed, taking pain pills every single day. It was something that just totally consumed my life. Well, God was doing something, and you don't see it in the midst of it, but God was doing something. So months away from losing our house, all the burdens of life came crashing down on me, and it was a drive home it was a Thursday night. I was in my truck. I'd never prayed before, never talked to God before. And it was a nice quiet drive, no cars on the road. I'm going down 79, and I'm angry with God, and I'm people inviting me to church and all the people I spoke against. If you're real, you'll speak to me right now. Understand, I had no background in the church at all, but I cried out to Him, and He's saying in a nice, gentle voice, He says, "I'll take you under my wing." I couldn't shake it. I couldn't shake it that this invisible God that I know nothing about just spoke to me, and I heard Him. It was without a doubt. I couldn't drink it away. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I drove to work. I went to work. I'm working, and I just couldn't stop thinking about it. I just kept welling up in me that I wanted to start a business, but I was so afraid to. I felt that was God's way of saying to me, go ahead and start your own business. Who thinks like that? I took a step of faith when I didn't even know what faith was. I take my last paycheck, start D-Reed Electric. I had $9 a pickup truck and 4 tools, and a drug addiction, a foreclosing home, expecting our second child. But over the next couple months, God started moving us into just revealing Himself through the business, through meeting people, and it led us to making a New Year's resolution, and that we would start going to church for the moral aspect of our children. We walk in the Faith Assembly, we sit in the back, we take our kids to the nursery, thinking this whole thing's just crazy, why am I here? It was Easter Sunday. The message closed out with Jesus being risen out of the tomb, that the stone was moved, that Jesus was no longer in the tomb like many of the idols of the day. And it was like a light bulb moment. I just knew I had to give my life to Jesus, and I knew I had to do it right in that moment. In the meantime, Ashley's doing the same thing, but we were so divided. It was like a glass wall between us, right? We get the kids, and we walk down to the car, and we buckle them in, and I'm sitting in the parking lot. I was getting ready to back out, and I stopped, and I just threw the car in park, and I looked at Ashley, and I said, I gave my life to Jesus today, right? That happened. And she looks at me with tears in her eyes, and she goes, I did too. We were so divided. But this was the beginning. Jesus was starting to bring that marriage back together. I said, Ashley, if we're going to do this, we got to jump all the way in. And she said, well, let's do that. Let's go all the way in. So God is doing an incredible work in our lives. We knew at that moment, though, when we were in the car, that he had brought us this far. He wasn't going to leave us. The best was yet to come. From foreclosing home, divided marriage, drug addiction, and brought us all the way up to the point now we're serving at Bell Vernon. I know this, that if Jesus could transform a wretched, wicked guy like me that spoke out against him, that he could transform a person just like you.